Hello and welcome to the Custom Vantage Web training video on customer chat. So if you've subscribed to customer chat, once you log into your admin, you can click on the chat tab at the top all the way to the right, and this will be live instead of grayed out. So there are three things that have to be done. One, this particular script, this is something that you would place into the content of all pages. So you would click on the content tab and then you would go to the page header tag and then you would paste that right here, which you can see I've already done. What this does is allow you to track where customers are on your website. And if you choose to, you could prompt a chat session. You could pop a message that says, "Hello, may I help you?" or something of that nature. In other words, where you initiate the chat rather than the customer initiating the chat. The other script, which is the one in the second window, this is the customer chat button. So when I copy this, and again, I'm going to go to content and I'm going to go to column 1 and I'm going to insert in column 1. You could put this anywhere. It doesn't have to be in column 1. It can be in the header, the footer, column 1, 2, or 3. It can be in the area above the content, it could be the area above the footer, etc. So in any case, I'm going to put an HTML rotator, add the block, edit that block. This is very important. Instead of pasting it here, you must click on the HTML tag. This will put you into the code view, and now you can just paste that script. Once we save that, then we would move on and do the same thing, not only on the home page, but on the category page. And cancel. HTML rotator, new block, edit, HTML view, paste in. You're not seeing me right click with my mouse because I'm using Control and V as in Victor to paste what was copied. And then that's fine. And then the final one is going to be on the products page. So again, we're going to do exactly the same thing. HTML rotator, edit it, HTML view, paste in the script, and save. Now, when we go out to the store, we now see there's the chat. Okay. And again, as you work within those columns, you can move those items, and I would recommend moving it up to the very top. All right. And then we would do that on the other pages as well. For the category page, again, we would, I've got it in here twice, so we'll delete it once, and we would move it up, etc., till it's where we want it to be. Now, the next thing we have to do, so that's the first thing, we need to put those scripts in place. The next thing we need to do is we need to create departments, and then we need to create chat representatives, and then there are a bunch of other settings that you can do. So the departments, in this case, I have sales as a department. We could have different departments on different sections of the site. Maybe we have the stamps department, maybe we have the engraved signs department, etc. Or we can do a single department. In either case, when we create new departments, so let's add a department, and maybe we will call this department rubber stamps, or it could be a department called customer service, etc. If I wanted to add a new email for this, I can. If there's a special website or part of your website that's for this, so we might put in the URL to that. Again, as you go through, you can change the buttons for these various elements. In either case, once we've created this, we're going to save the department. Forgive me. Okay, and we save that. So now we have two departments. And one of the things that you will notice is that each of these departments now has its own script. This script for the individual departments would replace, I'm going back to the main, would replace this script. So this main script is just generic, covers everything. But if I want department related scripts, I would, under the departments, copy these scripts instead. And so I might have something different on my stamp page versus my engraved signs page. The next thing we have to do is create a chat representative. So I've got some representatives here, but I'm going to create a new one. So I go up to the top. I'm going to create a new representative. His name is Bob Jones. His email, his username. It can be anything. It could be Bob. It could be whatever you create. Just no spaces, no special characters. Letters and numbers only. Give him a password. This password is only for chat. This is not a password to log into the admin of the site or anything else. Okay. Now we can give him a screen name. In this case, I'm just going to give him the name of Bob. We could put any information we want about him. How many chat sessions can Bob handle at once? If you leave it set at 0, he can handle as many as come in. If you only want to limit him to a certain number, then you can as well. Is Bob a chat representative or is he an administrator? Administrator gets to create other users and change settings. We're going to leave Bob. The welcome message, this is what will pop to your customer automatically when it connects to Bob. So it might be, hello, may I help you? Which departments does Bob get to receive chats for? Is it just the rubber stamp department, just the sales department? If I hold down the shift key or the control key, I can select multiples. So for which departments does Bob get chats? If I want to replace the generic photo of an empty person, I can replace it with a picture of Bob or any other picture that we care to put there. And again, Bob can have his own support button for that department. We'll save this. And now Bob exists. He's currently offline, but he is available to create or to respond to chat sessions. Now, Bob can log into the website and he can launch the chat monitor. Optionally, and probably much more superior, would be to have Bob download the desktop client. When you download and install the desktop client, Bob does not have to be on the website to receive chats. It will put a little icon down in the bottom of the taskbar down here in Windows. This client does run only on Windows, not on Macs. But the nice thing is it will continually monitor the site, and in the chat client, Bob will have to put in his username and his password, the username and password that was created here. So in this case, the username is Bob and the password is just the word password. But from that point forward, and by the way, you can check a little checkbox that says every time Bob logs onto his computer, launch the chat desktop client behind the scenes. And that's a smart idea. So Bob always has chat on. When he is going off duty, when he's going home for the evening, he can log off chat, and then Bob will no longer be available to receive chats. But it will make an audio sound. It will alert Bob. So even if he's not staring at the screen, if he's busy doing something else, he will get an audible alert that tells him somebody is looking for a chat, and he can jump on to that chat session and respond to the customer. Okay. So now from the store, let me back up one moment and say that we will just launch the chat monitor from here. He's going to log in with Bob and password, whatever his appropriate password is. Now this is the screen that Bob gets. When someone is on the store, this icon is lit. He's got a question, he can click on it. It'll ask him his name. He can choose which department he wants to respond to or ask a question of, and then hit chat. When that happens, it tells him that it's notifying the chat. And Bob now receives this chat request. Tells him what IP address it's coming from. If I had required him to put in a name, it would have said the name here, and and Bob can accept the chat. Bob gets his little window popped up. There's the automatic response from Bob. Hello, may I help you? Now the customer can ask questions. How do I buy this? Bob is going to receive the chat. How do I buy this? And Bob can answer. Now you can also provide pre-written or canned responses for common questions. I'm going to end this chat. Yes, I'm going to end the chat. It'll tell Bob that the chat was ended by the client. I'm just going to jump ahead and come back into the admin to point out that within the settings for chat, we can create canned responses. So under the canned responses, we can give it a name so it's easily recognized by our chat representatives, which departments it goes to. Is this a personal one? Is this something that all chat representatives get to see? Is it a reply? Is it a push? So don't be afraid to experiment. And to what representatives does this canned response apply? I can apply it only to certain representatives, or I can make it available for all representatives. Under the settings tab, um, these are overall system settings in regard to timeouts, how long before we automatically close a chat session, how long do we look for new chat requests, the maximum wait time that a customer is going to wait for a response from a chat representative before we tell them that no one's available, please leave a message. That title, customer chat support, you can rename to anything you want. The default size of the initial pop-up window for the customer chat for the customer, you can change it. I recommend leaving these alone. Are the customer name and email address required so that I can't skip them? I have to type them. Other fields you want to request, etc. Don't be afraid to look at and play with these settings. I think you will find that this is extremely flexible and will allow you to, in a much more efficient way, help customers who are on your website. If there are no chat representatives available, what do we want to do? We're going to allow the customer to leave a message, and this is going to go to your website's default contact page, which on your Custom Vantage Web website is the same place as when someone clicks customer service. This is the contact form where they can then leave the message and you would be able to get back to them as quickly as you can. I hope this was helpful. Thank you again for choosing Custom Vantage Web. If you have any questions, please submit your questions to support. You can send an email to support@cwebtechnologies.com, or you can go to help.cwebtechnologies.com and take a look at our help knowledge base. Thank you again for choosing Custom Vantage Web.